What is up, anchored people? Hey, this is our second week of doing what we're calling the Anchored Redux, where we have a student hop on every week and we talk about what's going on in your life. We have students share honest thoughts about life, faith, God, small groups, whatever you guys want. And so this week we have Kyle Newman hopping on with us. So here's Kyle. I think.
Hey,
Oh, there we go. What is up, Kyle?
does see up right now.
Well, that's good. If it's not, then you're anyway. How are you, Kyle?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing great.
That's great.
My daughter is going down for a nap, and when she doesn't want to take a nap, she kicks the wall really hard. And so it sounds like someone's trying to assault me through the wall, and so that's kind of fun.
Yes.
Anyway, Kyle, fun icebreaker question. What is something that no living person knows about you?
Uh, it's kind of a loaded question. I feel like my friend Austin and Brett know basically everything about me. I would say I never really talk about the fact that I've never broken a bone. Actually, that's not true. I broke my foot last summer. You know what? All right, let's just say I've never broken a bone.
I was about to get really excited. I've never broken a bone either. Uh, it's mainly because sports and I don't mix, and I stay safely sheltered in my house at all times. I was born with a broken thumb though, so
Well, there you go.
yeah. There's all of that. Hey, so I have two questions for you, which are going to sound very familiar to last week's. Uh, Last week we had Claire Van Horn hop on the Anchored Redux, and I asked her to define the gospel for us. And I think it's a really cool thing to hear different people's answers to that question.
Yeah.
So my two questions for you. Number one is, what is your definition of the gospel? Like if you were to put it in a dictionary, what is the definition? And number two, what does it mean to you personally? Like what is the gospel to Kyle Newman? And so let's start with number one. How would you define the gospel?
Um, I feel like I'm gonna like kind of meld these two answers in my mind, but I feel like my definition of the gospel should be pretty similar to everybody's like definition. Like if we're gonna put it in a book, we should all agree that like, it is the good news of Jesus coming into this earth, um, and redeeming our sins, and saving us because we can't save ourselves. We are a broken and fallen people. Um, and for me, I feel like uh, there's a lot of bad news in the world, and this is the good news, and it's kind of like um, it's like a correction course for our lives almost, because like we're on a sinking ship or we're heading straight for like an iceberg, and people tell us, hey, you're perfect just the way you are, you're doing great, and Jesus is here to be like, no, you're not. You're not good, you're not perfect, and you need me. you know so that's for me what the gospel means.
I love that. Well, I love too how you brought up kind of that almost like the cultural gospel, right? Of like you're perfect the way you are, just accept yourself and love yourself. And
Yeah.
that's the good news, but it is kind of like, but man, if we're wrong about that, like if we're not right the way we are, then we're kind of headed for a cliff here.
Yeah.
Um, so that's great. Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head with that one. What's the gospel to you? Like why? Like if you were to explain to me like, hey, here's why the gospel resonates with me. Like here's why like I find it so magnetic. Like what would you say for Kyle Newman?
um yeah, I would say like our culture is kind of like the gospel's very like countercultural.
Hmm.
Our culture is not set on like keeping people around, like once somebody messes up, like that's it, you're done, you know. uh, Especially like this year, you hear about cancel culture all the time. And, Jesus is the person that's going to stick with us no matter what. Like no matter how many times we mess up or go against what he says, Jesus is always there to pick us back up, yeah, and so set us on that correct course that he wants and designed for our lives.
Yeah, dude, I love it. Yeah, the cancel culture thing is funny because like on one hand, it's like, oh, like that guy that got canceled was a really bad guy. And then I think about my life and the thoughts that run through my head sometimes, and I'm just like, I feel like anybody could get canceled.
Yeah, like we put such an emphasis and be like, hey, look at how bad this person is. And it's like we're all just as broken and we all need Jesus, you know?
Yeah, it's funny. I think a lot of the time we do that, we like see like, look how bad that guy is. Like, look what he did.
Yeah.
Just deal with our own, dumpster fire of an inner life.
Yeah.
But dude, I love that. I think that's amazingly good news, is that Jesus he's not like a proponent of cancel culture.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's forgiveness culture is so different and it's so much more costly and it cost him everything.
Yeah.
So I love that. That's awesome. Any last thoughts you want to say about the gospel, life, faith?
No, I think we pretty much summed it up here. Just, I think the main part, if I haven't said this already, but just like, this is the good news for our lives, and it's not just for a certain group of people. The gospel is for everybody, and I think we all, need this correction course for our lives.
Absolutely. And it takes humility to recognize that, right? And so, yeah, it's cool that you're in that place, man. That's really, really cool. Well, Kyle, thanks for hopping on. Thanks for talking to me, and I'll see you soon.
Yeah, I'll see you later. Thanks for having me.
Hey, anytime. Well, not anytime. We need to.
Yeah.
Sometimes would be good.
Sometimes, yeah.
Hour one
week,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Narrow time frame. Anyway, bye, Kyle.
See you, Jake.
See you.